Hello everyone and welcome back to the Foreplay channel. I'm Bella.
I'm Jace.
And today's video is all about what really happens at swingers clubs.
So the first thing we're going to note is that every club is going to be a little bit different. It's going to vary from club to club. So when we're talking here, this is just like kind of a blanket about all of the clubs as a general we've been to, so it's the generalized rules, and so just make sure to check everything specifically for your club. The first thing to note about clubs is how the pay structure works. So you're gonna have different things. You're gonna have to have a membership to the club and then also pay per couple to get into the club. Now when it comes to a membership, these could be a nightly membership, it could be a monthly, sometimes they have every quarterly or even year memberships, but you are gonna have to pay for a membership generally and then also pay to get in the club.
The people who go to these clubs are predominantly couples, but depending on the time or the day, some clubs will allow both single males and single females as well. Some clubs do allow single males to come on all of the days they're open, but usually on Saturdays, it's either a limited amount of single men that can come or they don't allow single men at all. And usually they're at a higher price tier than couples or single females. Again, it just depends on each club, but typically single females are allowed to come on all of the days and they're usually at the lowest price point pricing wise, depending on the club.
So briefly, the reason why they have those structures and why single males are not allowed in every single day is a couple different reasons. The first one being that as a general rule, yes, both single men and single women are seeked out in the lifestyle because people like those dynamics, but as a general rule, more people are looking for single females, and so they like to have more single females in the club because couples are looking for that. Opposite of where men are a little bit less seeking in the lifestyle, but still seeked after. The other reason is unfortunately that sometimes in lifestyle men have had a bad rap. Not saying this is always true, and it's definitely not true for everybody, but sometimes men are a little bit aggressive, especially in the playrooms and things, and there's been issues. So not saying this happens all the time, but that is another reason that sometimes there's less single males than single females. Also, as a general rule, we believe that single men would come a lot more than single females. So most likely if you allowed a ton of single males all the time, the club would be just predominantly single males with some couples and a couple single females. We think they try to keep it kind of balanced about how many people are there, male to female ratio.
Pricing again depends on the club. The membership pricing model is typically a membership for one night or it could be for a month or two. The membership fee can vary from about $20 to maybe $50, and then in addition to the membership fee, there's a door fee. This is per couple usually, and the membership pricing is usually the same for every person, but for a couple, the door fee is typically around $60 to $90. So you do have to add both the membership fee and the door fee together to get in, and that's how much it'll cost for that night. How the membership works is you could get a one-night membership and that would be good for one night. However, they do have monthly and yearly memberships. Usually the longer the length membership you buy, the cheaper it is for the membership. But say you want to go to the club either again that next week or maybe you want to go the next day. If you have a monthly membership or more, then you wouldn't have to pay that membership that night and you only have to pay the door fee.
It's also important to note that the prices of different parties are going to vary. So the really big parties, which are always going to be New Year's, Halloween, Valentine's, and then maybe a couple other parties throughout the year, are generally a little bit bigger, and for those they generally have a higher price. You're paying a premium because you're going to have more people, it's a bigger party, so that's also good to note. And just like we said, all these prices can always change. This is just a general rule of kind of how the prices fall. Most clubs are bring your own alcohol. There's clubs that you are going to bring in your own alcohol, you're going to drop it off with the bartender, and then whenever you want to drink, you're going to go up, the bartender will make you your drink. There's also clubs where you're going to bring in your own alcohol and you're going to carry it around yourself. You know, you can have a little backpack or a bag, cooler, whatever it is. Make sure to look up the club specific rules, but that way you can carry it around, make your own drinks. Or some clubs have both options. Some clubs do not let you bring in mixers, so if you are going to get mixers, you're going to have to buy those from this club themselves. And then also some of those you buy them from the clubs, and then the bartenders will make the drinks for you. So it all going to kind of vary, but we also like to know what's a good kind of cup, things like that, to bring your drinks in. You're going to see people carrying, wine glasses. We personally like tumblers like this. We'll put a picture right here. They're really good because they keep your drink cold. That way you don't have to worry about spilling them. Ours also have our names, so that way they don't accidentally get mistaken for someone else's. So there's lots of different options you can use, but these are personally our favorite.
Next thing to know is there are different types of clubs. There's on-premise clubs and off-premise clubs. An on-premise club means that you can play there and there are rooms available to accommodate those adult activities. And these clubs may have a variety of different types of rooms, varying from private rooms playrooms to single beds, all the way to larger group beds in an open area, and are open for use and or viewing. And we'll talk about playrooms a little bit later on in the video. And there's also off-premise clubs. This means that it's more just like a social setting to meet more like-minded people, like a normal nightclub, but with more open and like-minded people. And then if you want to play, you can take that outside of the club to a hotel, home, or other place of your choice. So
now you're at the club. What are you going to expect? First thing I want to say is there's never any pressure at these clubs. Consent is the biggest thing, the biggest rule, so don't feel like you're going to walk in, there's going to be people playing everywhere, and you're going to be forced into this situation. It's not like that whatsoever. Consent is so heavily important in the lifestyle, so you're going to walk in, feel safe, and you can navigate your night however you want to. You're never needed to participate or do anything. You can completely take it at your own pace. We also have a full video about consent, so if you want to learn a bit more about consent, we'll have that link down below as well. So let's talk a little bit about theme nights now. So you can check your local club's listing and you'll see what all the different themes are. Depending on the club, some people are really going to dress up on theme. Other clubs are going to have a lot less dressing up on theme. So the only way to really know that is to go to your local club, see how many people dress on theme, and then go based off of that. One rule is generally females dress up a little bit more than males do for these things. I personally always dress up on theme, so it's definitely encouraged for men to dress up on theme as well. It's just not quite as busy. But you know, you don't have to do some elaborate type theme when it comes to these themes. For example, on an animal night, you don't have to wear some elaborate animal costume. You could wear like a button-up shirt like this that has leopard print, let's say. So you don't have to go crazy all out on theme, but it is fun. We personally like it. It's something to look forward to do together before you get to the club, and also it's kind of a conversation starter, so we like dressing up on theme. Some themes are just going to be more popular than others, and you're going to have more people dress up. For example, glow is one of the most popular themes. We feel like on glow night, most people dress up on glow, so it's also going to depend theme to theme.
While it's not necessary to dress up on theme and no one's expected to, it is important to know that you need to follow the dress code. Check the rules of your local club on their website, but as a general rule, you'll want to wear nice nightclub attire. If you want to see a full video of ideas of what to wear to the club, we do have a full guide for men and women that will link in the description down below. Women are able to wear a larger variety of clothing than men to clubs, but should avoid anything super distressed, athleisure, beachwear, loungewear, flip-flops, and other types of clothing of that nature. And men, on the other hand, should avoid wearing things like overly distressed or baggy clothes, large graphic tees, workout shoes, baseball caps, things like that. And it's good to note that a lot of the time, if your clothes don't follow the club guidelines, they actually will not let you in. It's not uncommon for women to wear a nice dress and then choose to change into lingerie later on in the night. Themes can sometimes also vary the type of clothing that you'll see. So for example, for the glow night theme, you'll see a lot more rave wear, or if there's a Mardi Gras theme, there could be more costume-like outfits. So usually at clubs, there's about a 50 to 65% participation on the themes.
So something really important to note that I think people have a misconception about is the idea of walking into one of these clubs and people just playing everywhere and it's just this craziness going on. That's not what it's like. You're going to walk in these clubs and most of them are just going to feel like a normal nightclub. You're going to see people sitting, having conversations, people standing by a bar, people having drinks, maybe people dancing, but it's not just going to be people playing everywhere. Most of the time, clubs don't even allow play in the normal areas of the club. Maybe you're going to see this, but truthfully, even those types of things are going to be later on in the night, maybe at 1, 2, not when you first walk into these clubs. So a pro tip, if you're newer, you're kind of nervous, we would recommend getting to the club early, maybe right around when it opens. That way it's much less busy. You can go talk to the staff members. Lots of times they'll give you a tour so you can kind of find out what everything is like. You can sit down there, you can kind of find your safe space, you can people watch. It's just a really nice way to kind of get acclimated because it can get a little bit busier later in the night, so that's a big pro tip. It's also good to note that Saturdays are going to be the most busy day at basically every club ever, and so if you're trying to look for the most popular night with the most people, we definitely recommend going on a Saturday. Some parties might be a little more popular because maybe one of the dating sites is hosting it. We have a Newbie guide that has a list of all the clubs everywhere. It has a list of all the lifestyle websites that you can download. We'll have a link down here below, but that gives you just a good idea of a lot of things when you're newer into lifestyle, but also has those links to find your local clubs, to find the local websites that are good for you, and that way it kind of helps you get a little bit more in the know before you go to these clubs as well. So if you use those links in the Newbie guide that we have linked down below, you'll be able to get free trial memberships to most of those websites, so you can try it out, kind of see if it works for you.
Some clubs also have the option of lockers. If the club does, this is a great place for you to keep the things that you don't want to carry with you around. Most of the clubs clubs we've been to do allow you to bring your own lock, and if you don't have one, they'll let you rent one for a small deposit, and then whenever you return the lock, they'll give you back your money. We do recommend to bring your own lock though for two specific reasons. One, they could be out of locks, and then the second reason is we like to use a lock that has a key instead of a turning dial lock, and it's often dark in these areas, so it's really hard to see and it's easy to forget a lock code. So a key is an easy way to assure that you can get in and out of your locker easily. The socializing you'll see is pretty much what you'll see at a normal trendy nightclub, but the one thing that is different is the dancing. Some clubs will have poles where you'll see people dancing on, but this is not the same as exotic dance clubs though, so throwing money or giving money out is not allowed. You'll see a lot of grinding, you may see people swapping dance partners, kissing, women being topless, and other things along this nature. Restrooms are actually a really important part of swingers clubs. So you know how at a normal club how girls will just talk and hang out in the bathroom and that's where you meet a lot of girls? So at a swingers club it's like that, but even more important. So a lot of the times you'll see and you'll meet girls in the bathroom and you guys will talk like, oh my god, I love your dress, you're so pretty, where'd you get your outfit? And then that's when you become friends. And I've made so many friends in the bathroom, and so sometimes we kind of end up in there for a little while, but whether we're just talking or waiting in line to fix our makeup or whatever it is, making friends in the bathroom is super normal. Sometimes we'll even use this kind of as like a segue, if that's the right word. But so say we'll see a couple that we're interested in, and then I happen to see the girl in the bathroom later on the night, or I happen to see her go to the bathroom, and then so then I go to the bathroom. That might sound kind of weird, but it's kind of like a conversation opener in a way, because at least you're like in the same place and there's not like a ton of people there, and then you can give that compliment or however you want to introduce yourself, and then usually you walk out together and then you meet their partner.
So outside of the women's bathroom, I'd call is like the men's section. We generally just stand there waiting for our wives that are in the bathroom. I've stood here for a long period of time. Some of the clubs will have a couch or something, which is wonderful because you don't know how long you're going to be there. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 20. Who knows? I've had to send people in to try to look for my wife because I thought something happened. She was just talking. But it's also good because a lot of times whenever you have your wife in the restaurant, time she's talking to couples, the other man is standing outside. So lots of time I'll make conversation with those other people right around there. And so that way, lots of time whenever the wife walks out with your wife, you've already met the husband. And so that section is also really important for the men. Truthfully, I don't talk to the men in the restroom as much. It's generally more outside the restroom where guys talk. So now the moment everyone's been waiting for, playrooms. We're gonna talk about it. This is at the on-premise clubs. They're gonna vary a lot. One thing you might see is like a movie theater room. In these rooms, you'll have a movie playing, but like an adult movie. There's usually some couches, things like that. And sometimes you'll see people just in there watching whatever's on. Also, you may see people playing in there. Then you have your group areas, I guess. You're gonna kind of have these out in the open. These are for people who want to be watched. So these areas you can stand there, you can watch people, you can go, maybe it's a larger bed, but you're able to go there and people can watch you. Also, you have more of a private room. These are the ones that are gonna have doors that can close. They're completely secluded, so that's another option. And then one of the most common things you will see is beds. There's a ton of beds next to each other, and they have different kind of curtains. Some have sheer curtains, so that way you can close the curtains, you can leave them open, you can have a little bit of privacy, but people are still able to see through. So these areas you're able to walk, you're able to watch people because they want to be seen, they have those sheer curtains. In other areas, they're gonna have opaque curtains. In these opaque curtain areas, it's basically gonna make it like a private room. These ones, it's really important to not open these curtains. That is a big no-no. If people have an opaque curtain, they do not want to be watched. So there is other areas to watch people if that's what you want to do. So do not go open these. We've seen people peek into them before. I absolutely hate that. You'll usually get kicked out of a club of people seeing you do this. So follow the rule. You have areas that are for people to be watched or for you to be watched. Use those areas for that and use the private areas for privacy.
Another thing we've seen in some swinger clubs playrooms is that they may have a dress code. So while some clubs you're able to walk around the playrooms in your street clothes or like whatever the clothes that you came into the club with, some clubs you have to either be in a robe or nude or in a towel or in lingerie to enter the playrooms. These clubs will generally have towels that you can borrow if you're wanting to wear that into the playroom. A question we get asked a lot is how clean are the playrooms? And so this is going to vary club by club, but while some places you do have to clean after yourselves, we feel like a lot of clubs we've been to have staff members who will come and clean and change the sheets as soon as you're finished playing in that room. And it should go without being said, but do your best to clean up after yourselves. The staff work so hard, and cleaning everything and doing everything they can to make their job as easy as possible goes a really long way. At one of the clubs that we frequent, they have a heart pillow in the middle of the bed, and if the heart is in the middle, then the room or the bed is clean, open, and ready to use. And if it's not, that means it's not available and still needs to be cleaned. It's also good to note that most clubs will have protection provided for you, but if you prefer certain brands and types of these things like lube or toys, make sure that you bring them yourself. We do recommend to bring a bag that has all of your playtime go-tos for easy access, and we do have a video of what we have in our personal swinger bag that we will have linked down below in the description.
Most clubs also try really hard to make kind of a sexy atmosphere. There's usually some sort of mood lighting, whether it's kind of a red lighting or a blue lighting. It normally smells good in those areas because they'll have not usually candles, but some sort of spray type thing that releases so that it, something like that, so it smells good. There's usually some sort of music going on that's like a nice music to listen to. So they try really hard to make these areas also feel really good. And so that's really important to note. It's not just like some dark, damp room that's disgusting. It's really nice. I guess there probably is some clubs that do have those, but if you're going to, a little bit nicer club, then it is going to be nice. And I mean, I think all clubs try their best to do what they can, but you have all different levels of these clubs, and so everyone's trying their best, but some are going to be a little bit nicer than others. So that's really it. I feel like that is the whole walkthrough of before swingers club. Once you're there, that is what it's like. And yeah, it's not scary, it's not intimidating, you can take it at your own pace. Like I said, you never have to participate. So it's really just a fun, safe space to meet like-minded people, where you also have the options of maybe more things happening. But it's really just a fun, cool area, so we highly recommend, as I said, get our newbie guide. It has all of the clubs listed by state, so you can see everyone around you, so maybe you can get an idea of where your local club is. But yeah, it's just so amazing, so make sure to check them out. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions about this, or maybe any comments or things we missed, make sure to drop those down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never post a video, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!